So I just picked up this vacuum this morning solely to do a video on it. I almost didn't pick it up, but then I figured I could do a video. This brand I've never heard of before. It's called an Everstar. It appears to be one of the cheapest vacuums that I've ever seen. I mean, these things are obviously made at a price point. You have a handle you can pull out here, which can apparently go all the way in for storage, which is kind of a cool feature. But you can see there's some stuff shaking around in there. So that's an interesting feature nonetheless. And back to the dubious build quality, the cord hook was supposed to be right here. That no longer exists. So when I found this, I found the cord wrapped around the handle, just like that. And looks like they threw it away for a reason. I have not checked to see if there's any clogs in it or not. Simple dirt canister, it looks like, with a external switch, so you don't have to pull it open from the bottom. So that's an interesting feature on something this cheap. Take a look at the dirt cup in a minute. But here's the brush roll. It's very reminiscent of the old Bissell brush rolls. All plastic, no wood. The height adjustment here is actually kind of interesting. Height adjustment here is actually, that whole axle looks like it's built pretty well. Definitely better than a Bissell. But it's kind of interesting. This machine I know is not worth saving, even if it does work. I've looked, I did a quick search online for parts for these. They're not available. In fact, I couldn't even locate the corporate website for this company. What I'm guessing is this is probably a store brand from somewhere. This one is 09/05. It's probably a 2009 if I had to guess. But I don't know if Amazon sold these or some store like Big Lots sold a bunch of these. I have no clue. The other interesting part about this is there's no external tools to be spoken of. Now, presumably, you could probably pull this off, and maybe they had an accessory kit on a higher end model that worked with the tools or not. But for what this thing is, you really don't get much. But it's definitely got some quirks to it, that's for sure. But let's plug it in and see if it even turns on. So on the sacrificial workbench, it's got, I forgot to mention, it's got the switch up here. The handle release is right here. So you would just do that bit. Let's turn it on. Oh yeah. This thing's got a clog in it. Let's do this outside. Cheap junk. It's got a clog in it. So just for the purpose of this video, we'll just have a quick look at this thing. I'm not gonna really get too far involved with trying to fix it if there's something seriously wrong with it. This machine has, these are meant to be disposable, just like the cheap Bissells. Same kind of basic design as some of the cheaper Bissells. Oh yeah, this machine is pretty well dirty. Oh yeah, it's got a big clog inside it. Look at that. So that had a massive clog in it, but it's kind of difficult to get this thing out. They had to have had a higher end model that had tools that you could have used with it. There's still something in this. That's got to be from the handle. But that's how you would clear a clog. Now all I'm going to do is just put this brush roll back in. Now obviously if you are servicing one of these and cleaning it up and you choose to use new parts on it, that's on you. Like I said, this machine is not worth putting really much money or time into. But if it's a simple fix like a clog, that's definitely something that can be fixed on the cheap and prevent you from having to buy a new vacuum, especially if you're hurting for money or whatnot. Clogs are probably one of the easiest things to clear in any vacuum. This out. So in the event that you need to replace this filter, you can find filter material online, or even like an old vacuum bag or HEPA vacuum bag you can cut to size and make your own filter that way. You can see all this is just felt. You know, it's probably the same kind of stuff you'd get from any hardware store. Oh, this thing is so cheap. Even the door for the filter isn't all that secure. In terms of servicing one of these cheap bagless machines, no matter who makes them, they're all very similar. But this one, I kind of like that it has this button here on the side. And then presumably, you can get in here like this. And then just undo it. Here's the filter, so it's kind of surprising, but it's got an actual pleated filter. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a piece of foam, if there was anything there at all. So now we have, unlock this. Of course, my hands are too big. And I can't get my hand around this thing to unlock it. There we go. There's the Cyclone. And then to continue pulling it apart, you can just do that. And honestly, you can wash this stuff in your dishwasher if you don't want to wash it by hand. I do that all the time with stuff like this. But that's the filter. There's doesn't look like there's a single part number on this either, so take that for what it is. We'll go ahead and put the cyclone back in. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm not doing a full like actual service on this thing to use it. I'm just kind of breaking it down so you guys can see how to service your vacuum if you're trying to save one of these from having to throw it out. But it's very serviceable. It's very user-friendly. That's one thing that I will say that this has going for it. Definitely with the cheap bagless machines, they are typically pretty easily to service. And I mean, I'm going to take apart the dust cup, replace the filter, replace the brush roll and the belt. It's stupid simple to get in there and just replace things as you need to. But of course, with something like this, unless you find it used on eBay, chances are you're not going to be able to find brand new parts for these. They don't appear to be made, if they were even made at all. Like I said earlier in the video, I can't even find a corporate website for this thing. Chances are that there is some sort of machine that is still being made under a different name that uses the same or similar parts. So you might have some luck with that if you could poke around online, you know, type in cheap vacuum in Amazon and look at everything that's not name brand. And you might find something that's very similar to this that's being made now. So let's give her a shot. The belt kind of seemed a little weak, so I wouldn't be surprised if it starts and stops. But you guys see what I mean. It's very cheaply made. And if this wasn't broken here, that would actually help with the suction a little bit. When I put my fingers up to here, I can feel the suction changing. So it's leaking past the internal plastics inside, but I'm not surprised one bit. Yeah, so just after that quick little vacuum, you can see styrofoam blew out the inside of the machine. That says a lot. It really does. I'm not sure how much of it actually made in here. It looks like a little bit did. I would recommend you stay very far away from this. If you see one of these in a thrift store or something, I wouldn't even bother. So I just wanted to finish off this video by saying that I just scrapped this machine, and in the process, I didn't even try, but this plastic is so cheap and brittle. I have never seen that on any vacuum that I've worked on. I can't believe how junky this machine is. I don't know if the blue pieces seem to be a little bit better in quality. They definitely hold up a lot better, but wow, I have never seen any vacuum that I've ever messed with break that easily. No wonder the cord hook broke. Just cheap junk.